You're different.
Hi everyone, my name is Christian and I'm a photographer and a creator based in Chicago. On this channel, I share my journey from building a photography business, from lessons that I'm learning along the way, to reflections on life and creativity, as well as videos on health and fitness, tech, cameras, and other things I'm interested in. Most of the time, I'll be shooting sports, events, portraits, lifestyle. A few weeks ago, I had one of the most humbling experiences in my photography journey. I was asked to take photos at a funeral. It was my very first time doing this, and honestly, I didn't know what to expect. This quickly became more than just taking pictures. It was about respect, empathy, and capturing moments for a grieving family. To respect the family, I'm going to try to show only photos that don't show any faces, but instead capture the atmosphere, the settings, small details, the mood, and the emotion of the situation itself. This video isn't about me talking all about my skills in photography, the images that I took, but more so about the reflection and the lessons that I've learned from being trusted to take photos of this sensitive moment. As I get deeper into photography and making it into a business, not every project is glamorous. Sometimes photography is about serving others in their hardest moments. It's not all about flashy edits or the perfect lighting setup. It's about preserving memories that will matter deeply to someone else. This was a sudden request. The service was the very next day. At first, I hesitated. I didn't have all the gear that I would have liked to use, and it felt like a huge responsibility for just one photographer. But they reached out to me for a reason, and I couldn't bring myself to say no. The night before, I stayed up online doing a lot of research on other photographers' experiences, the mistakes they made, the mistakes they said to avoid, what worked for them, and their just overall stories. I tried to soak up every piece of advice that I learned and bring that into my approach. So now let's talk about challenges. The biggest one was being present without being distracting, moving quietly, shooting angles that told the story without being too intrusive. The second challenge was capturing moments and emotions without crossing any boundaries. Respect always came first. The third challenge was about more technical difficulties. The building itself was very dark. I didn't know much about the settings, so I had to adjust on the fly, balancing shadows, figuring out composition while being discreet. And because I didn't have all the gear that I wanted to use, I had to make do with what I got. When the time came, I felt a little bit nervous, but I kept reminding myself that they trusted me with this job, so I'm gonna do my very best to deliver on that. That mindset gave me the confidence that I needed. So I introduced myself, stayed calm, and got to work right away. I started with the environment, the setting, the building, the venue, floral arrangements, the candles, the program. These small details may seem minor, but for the families, they hold meaning. They're part of how the day will be remembered. As the service began, I looked for moments that spoke louder than words. Hands holding each other for comfort, people hugging, the way light poured into the stained glass, the quiet pauses when everyone was deep in thought. Every shutter click felt heavy, like it carried a responsibility. And honestly, that weight humbled me. When it was over, I left with mixed emotions. Part of me was relieved that I was able to do the job, but another part of me felt deeply reflective. Funerals remind you how short and fragile life really is. And it made me think about the power of photography and being creative, how these images and the things we create live long after the day is over. So some takeaways and the things that I learned from this is that I learned that sometimes the most important photos don't make it on Instagram or in a portfolio. They're the ones that quietly sit in the family's album, holding memories only they can understand. I also realized that photography is about legacy, about creating something that outlives the moment. And most of all, I realized this, that it's not about me, it's not about the photographer, but it's about the people that you're serving. This was one of the most humbling experiences in my photography career so far, and it completely changed my view on photography and my role as a creator. If you found this video valuable, I'd appreciate it if you guys hit that like button, consider subscribing, and just see my journey as a creator. And if you're in the Chicago area in need of a photographer, whether it's for sports, portraits, events, or something a little bit more personal, my contact information and the link to my website is below. I'd be honored to work with you. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one.